Okay, last but not least, the last thing that we're going to talk about in week 2 for your overview is the verbal and visual equations of typefaces. And this is really important because it can be very powerful to use typeface in a design to persuade. So let's take a look at this. So typographic signs are both verbal and visual. Designers often think in visual verbal equations when creating logos, posters, or editorial headlines. So you have the letter. It's a well-drawn form exhibiting subtly and with precision. It's the unit that distinguishes one family of type from another. It exists in various weights, sizes, and shapes. Although the letter typically functions as a part of a word, individual letters are frequently combined into new configurations. So you have the word. So a word has the potential to express an idea, object, or event. Word signs are independent of the things they represent. Yet by design, they can be made to signify and reveal their meaning. Form and counterform relationships found within individual letter forms also exist within individual words. You can see here, just by dropping the I gives a visual of this word and what it means falling. Very simple. You can express the meaning of a word or an idea through the spacing, sizing, and the placement of letters on the page. Here's a good example here. The word echo is being started out really, really loud, or, if you start at the very bottom, very, very quiet. But typically an echo is echo, 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 and it gets smaller and smaller. It's repeated and it's going from big to small. Another one, adding, is adding another D, kind of visually shows you what that word's about. Subtracting, you're taking away a letter. Multiplying, because you're adding an extra multi. Dividing is you're actually dividing that word up with the extra space in between. Here's a really good example of two logos that Herb Lublin and Tom Cornelius, well, the top one is both, the other one's just Herb, created that really uses this visual and verbal technique. So you have the mother with the little and sign and the O with the child almost looking like an embryo inside the mother's belly. And you have families with the little eyes representing maybe a family of people, but it's still using a letter form. Here's another one that's kind of visually interesting. It's killed. It looks like, this little eye was shot and killed or something. It's just laying there. That's kind of another visual way of showing that. Balloons with the O's kind of floating up. Headache. That's really, really hard to look at, but it kind of gives you an idea of, yes, that's how I would feel if I had a headache. This word would look like. Parallel. You think of parallel, two things together, side by side, taking those L's and doing that visually with that. Absent. With the E not there, absent. We get it. Faint. The T is kind of fainted on the side. You could see it laying on its side in the background. In general sense, to say something has meaning relies upon its ability to present its idea in a form that can be communicated and shared. So I think it's pretty neat and something that can be explored and experimented with. Definitely maybe even something that could be used as a headline in certain cases creatively. And also a lettermark could be done in this way if it works for the brand.